back to the last break in Arts of ASEAN, and as I always say, this is the last but not the least. We would like to present you to a Filipino film called Bagong Buwan. It is a story of conflicts between people with different religions and different generations. How is it gonna be? Let's see.
Habang panahon ba ang gerang ito?
Bagong Buwan, also known as New Moon, is a Filipino film directed by Maliru Diaz-Abaya. The movie is about the Muslim revolution in Mindanao, Philippines, and its effect on civilians. It is a look war in Mindanao between the Philippines government and Bangsamoro.
The film tells the story of people who caught in crossfire during that time. Anyway, historically, MLF, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, as a rebel group and separatist group, has fought against the Manila government for the independence in an area in Mindanao. Even now, peace talks between both sides still going on. Anyway, the film itself criticized the policy of the government and even the violent path that taken by the MLF itself, meaning the director of the film pretty kind of like anti using violence, so opposing the use of violence, because at the end of the day, those who got affected, they are civilians, innocent people.
This movie didn't only talk about conflicts between religions, it also talked about the conflicts between natives and new people. It reflects conflicts in many different ways.
The film itself is not only kind of like talking about the violence in the area and also the prejudice that kind of like deep-rooted in Philippine society for years, meaning prejudice towards Muslim, prejudice towards Christians in the country. So the film itself try to communicate with all people in the Philippines, try to kind of like destroy the barriers of understanding, destroy the wall of prejudice, the myth that people have in the society.
Conflict between native and middle people is not just a Filipino's problem. It can be seen around the world in many countries, including Thailand, as we seen in Kabot Pubun in 1956.
I would say that we share the kind of like similar situation. We have a similar situation in Thailand, deep southern provinces, violence there. Before in Aceh, in Indonesia, and also even now in Papua, they have a separatist problem in Papua. So problems in Mindanao, we could learn in terms of conflict resolution. The cause root of the problem, the government and other parties need to do is to kind of like promote non-violence practice. Using force cannot solve the problem. So you need to look at the non-violence part, how the violence affect the feeling of the people, how the violence kind of like create more hatred among the people, create more prejudice. It's a kind of like a different layers. It's a lot of layers of problem that we have to look at.
Please proceed with your
This movie tells a story through life of a guy named Ahmad who worked as a doctor in Manila but need to go back to his hometown in Mindanao. That was the beginning of the whole story. He started to question himself about his ethic as a doctor and his personal revenge. From being a doctor, he needed to get a gun and fight with the government soldiers who attacked the villagers.
He happened to kill a person emotionally. Thinking about Thai film, how can we whether we can kind of like show or kind of like portray a character of doctor killing a people, probably not. But in reality, this is the emotion of a human. In that particular situation, he might kill that person.
If we start talking in the topic of censorship in Southeast Asian country, that is going to be very interesting topic. We have different levels of censorship, and if we look to the cause, it is all about inspiration to use art as a tool to communicate about right and humanity, as well as freedom of speech in a proper way.
You cannot say that the rating system is more free than censorship system. No, it's not true. I watched a film from Indonesia which have gone through the censorship system, but you know what? It's more free than the film that got prohibited, red hall in Thai, banned. So how can we say that rating system is more free? It's not true. The important thing is all about ideology in the society. You know, how the perception of people in the society, how you view the concept of freedom of expression.
Habang panahon ba ang gerang ito? Iba talaga ang kagustuhan ni Allah na mag-away tayo. Magpatayan ng magkakapatid. Mag-ubusan tayo lahat ng lahi.
Ito po ba ang gusto nating mangyari? Ang magkawatak-watak ho ang bansang Pilipinas?
Malas nga ang utak mo, pumurol naman ang kaluluwa mo. Aminin mo, ikinahihiya mo na isa kang Moro. O ano? May mababang tingin sa atin ng mga Kristiyano.
Isa akong doktor. Hindi ako magdirigma. Layunin ko ang makagamot at makatulong sa aking kapwa-tao. Kristiyano man o Muslim.
Prinsipyo ang pinaglalaban namin. Ang pangsamoro, ang aming kalayaan.
Retire for MI! Baba kayo! Baba! Baba!
Kagustuhan niya ni Allah.
Gumante? Humawak ng armas?
Obligasyon natin to!
Obligasyon ng bawat Muslim ang mag-aral at maglikom ng kaalaman.
To live together happily, there is no importance of who we are, where we are from, or what religion we are having. And there shouldn't be any barrier between humanities. That is all for today in Arts of ASEAN. Thanks for following us, and please follow us every Friday at 7:30. It's time to say goodbye, so see you next week.